I don't know about y'all. As a Raiders fan, I need more good news. And if you feel that exact same way, I want you to hit that like button because coming up here today on the Raiders Report, I got some really good news for the nation. Here on the Raiders Report, I'm going to tell you why the Las Vegas Raiders are guaranteed to have a top 2 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. And if you didn't hit the like button before, maybe you can hit that like button again. And you know what? If you even want to give this video a hype, I wouldn't mind it at all. Because coming up here on today's show, I'm going to tell you why the Las Vegas Raiders are guaranteed to have that top 2 pick. Because right now, as it stands, going into Week 14, here is the first 10 picks of the 2026 NFL Draft. Now, I'm really only going to focus on the top 5 because the Raiders are sitting there at number 4 with that 2-10 record. And we're going to really focus on the Titans, the Giants, the Saints, and the Raiders. We're going to look at schedules. I'm going to tell you why the Raiders are going to have that top 2 pick. And first, we're going to look here at why, and it's the biggest reason why, the Las Vegas Raiders are not going to win another game this season. I did also try to do this style of a show on Monday during my Overreaction Monday segment, but my body was telling me no, even though my mind was trying to tell me yes. So I don't see the Raiders winning another game. And when you look at the remaining schedule here, the only game that you got a chance to win, I think, is against the New York Giants in Week 17. Because you're not beating Denver, you're not beating Philly, you're not beating Houston, and you're not going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 18. I wish I could tell you anything else. I wish I could give Raiders fans hope, but I also think, and I hate saying it, I'm not Team Tank, and I don't think I need to be Team Tank because this team's bad enough to not win another game. But at this point in the season, I want a brand new head coach that wants to come coach here, and I think the way that you're going to get the top candidates out there, because again, for anybody out there, it's like, oh, move on from Tom Brady. Tom Brady wanted Mike Vrabel. Tom Brady wanted Ben Johnson. Both those guys right now are number 1 in the AFC and in the NFC. And I do think that if we have a chance to get that next great head coach, you need to have a top 2 pick, maybe even the number 1 overall pick. So with that being said, I kind of want the Raiders to lose out because I kind of want the Raiders to have the number 1 overall pick or at least the number 2 pick. So you can let me know, after looking at that Raiders schedule, do y'all think that they're going to win another game this season? I say no. I think this team's going to finish 2-15, but you're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. While that ad is playing, scroll on down and tell me how many games you think the Raiders are going to win this season. 2. 2. And what's wild is the fact that we won Week 1 against the New England Patriots, a team that right now is the number 1 team in the AFC. The only other team that we've been able to beat is the Tennessee Titans. Where we're going to go next here because they are the number 1 seed in the NFL, or the number 1 overall team in the NFL Draft as it stands right now. And the reason why I'm confident that we're going to have a top 2 pick is I want you guys to look at the Titans schedule. And you got to remind yourself, yes, the Raiders did beat Tennessee, but the way that the NFL Draft operates, it goes by strength of schedule. And actually, as it stands right now, the Titans have a harder strength of schedule than the Las Vegas Raiders. So if the Titans and the Raiders were to finish with the exact same record, the Raiders would get the jump up over the Tennessee Titans. And here's the Titans' remaining schedule. I think Week 14 is a potential winning game against Cleveland. I don't think they're going to beat San Francisco. I do not think that they're going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Week 17 against New Orleans. So that means that the number 1 seed and the number 3 seed are going to have to play each other. I don't know why I keep saying the number 1. The number 1 overall pick, the number 3 overall pick, the Titans and the Saints, they have to play each other Week 17. What's really interesting about Week 17, again, the Raiders played the New York Giants that exact same week. The most important week for Raiders fans, and it's not close at all at this point, is Week 17 because of that matchup. But I will also say, the Raiders, I think the only winnable game for them is Week 17 against the Giants, where I look at the Titans and I go, they could win 2 games. But remind yourself, they only need to win 1, because if the Raiders and the Titans finish with the same record, the Raiders will be higher than the Titans. Let's now go to the New York Giants, who are picking number 2 if the NFL Draft were to start today. And I want you to look at this Giants schedule. And I get it, the Giants are a bad football team. You probably watched that game on Monday Night Football, and you probably saw a kicker literally kick the grass. And you got Week 15 against Washington. That's a winnable game. Week 16 against Minnesota. If J.J. McCarthy or whoever the hell is playing quarterback there, That's a winnable game. Week 17 against the Raiders. That's a winnable game. I look at this Giants schedule, and I think that they can win at least one, maybe two games. If they win one game, they're going to be higher than the Raiders. And I think when you match up the Giants and you match up the Raiders in Week 17, the Raiders are going to get mollywopped. Because, again, the Giants have given up a lot of leads, but when you just compare the two teams, the Giants are clearly the more significant team, and the Giants have something to play for. They're still trying to, save jobs. And I don't know if you saw the press conference with Mara. They understand the questions, but they also have a team that, again, is trying to build for the future with Jackson Dart. The Giants, I think that schedule, much easier than the Las Vegas Raiders. Coming up here, I got more reasons why I think the Raiders are going to have a no doubt top 2 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Before we dive into that, though, today's show sponsored, operated by our good friends over at PrizePicks. And I love this time of the year, the holiday season, whether you celebrate Hanukkah like Chugs or you celebrate Christmas like me. I know this right now, there's one place where it feels good to be right, and that's on PrizePicks. I also love how straightforward PrizePicks is. I don't got to spend a lot of time trying to calculate my payouts. PrizePicks makes it easy with their payout multipliers, whether you want to go with the flex play, whether you want to go with the power play. PrizePicks makes it easy to understand how much you can win. PrizePicks is simple to play. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you can cash in. PrizePicks now also offers stacks, meaning that you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. If you want to go more on, let's say, Jaden Higgins receiving yards and a Jaden Higgins touchdown, you can do that stack. And I'm showing you the Chiefs and Texans game because I care more about the Texans beating the Chiefs than I do the Raiders beating the Broncos. It pains me to say it, but damn it, it's the God-honest truth, and I'm always going to be God-honest with everybody here that watches this show. And there's a reason why. It's America's #1 fantasy app out there. If your fantasy football team stinks, if your actual NFL team stinks, then download America's #1 fantasy sports app right now. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Now let's go to the New Orleans Saints, who are picking number 3 overall right now in the NFL Draft if it were to happen today. And I want you to look at this New Orleans Saints schedule because Week 14, not easy. Week 15 against Carolina, not easy. But one thing that I always find myself saying is sometimes interdivision games can get funky. And interdivision games can get funky. But I look at the last 3 games. The Jets, that's a winnable game. The Titans, somebody's got to win that football game. And then Week 18 against Atlanta. I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to end up firing Raheem Morris. And I almost wonder if that team's going to give up at that time. And because the Saints have 2 wins, they just need to win 1 game. My bottom line and the biggest reason why I am making this video is because when you look at the Raiders schedule, you look at the Titans schedule, you look at the Giants schedule, and you look at the New Orleans Saints schedule. By far the hardest schedule on there right now is the Las Vegas Raiders. And I also think if the Raiders were to play the Titans would win. I'm saying right now. If the Raiders would play the Saints would win. If the Giants were to play the Raiders, and they will, Week 17, the Giants are going to win. The Las Vegas Raiders, as it stands right now, are the worst team in the National Football League. So with that being said, I'm going to give you guys my projected 2026 NFL draft order. I wish I could be able to sit up here and tell y'all that I think the Raiders are going to have that #1 overall pick. It means that the Titans need to be able to get a win. I don't know if that's going to end up happening. What I do know always ends up happening is people showing up part of the Noti gang. I always show love to the Noti gang because these are names that, again, like when I push out a video, the first names that pop up on that video are names that I see. I like comments, I heart comments, I respond to them, I give them a shout out to the Noti gang. But when you're a part of that Noti gang, it tells me you're subscribed, tells me you got your notifications on, and it tells me you're a real one. So to Renzo, Jay Sasa, Juan, Ricky, and Sergio, I see y'all, I rock with y'all, and I appreciate y'all. So here is my projected top 4 picks, because quite frankly, these are really the only picks that I think really matter to anybody watching the show. I don't know if the Titans win another game. I'll be honest with you. I think that they could, but I don't know if they do. So I think that the Titans are going to be the #1. Raiders are going to be number 2, Saints at number 3, Giants at number 4. And when you look at the Jets schedule, they could be 5 or 6 on this list. But 5 or 6 to climb up to number 1, the Titans already have their quarterback in Cam Ward. They've already drafted him. So if the Raiders wanted to be able to take a QB, they'd be able to do it. Why do I say that? Saints, I think they end up sticking with Tyler Shuck. They drafted him. They drafted Jackson Dart. If the Raiders want a shot to go get a quarterback, they will be able to do it. I think to assure yourself that you get it, you will probably have to trade up, and you're going to have to give up some picks to do it. But I believe in my heart of hearts, the Las Vegas Raiders are a lock to have a top 2 pick in the NFL draft. And I also think that the Raiders are going to be a very interesting spot because whatever head coach comes in, they're going to be able to pick their quarterback. And if they don't pick a brand new quarterback, shame on you. Shame on you. Now, we still got 5 games left of the season. I will be live for every Raiders game that goes on for the remainder of the year. And again, it sucks to say, like, I'm in a weird spot as a fan because I don't want the team to try to tank. Because I think when you try to tank, it's a bad message. I think that this team's just so bad that they don't even have to try. They're just going to lose out because I don't see a game on that schedule where the Raiders are going to win because every team that they're going to go up against is trying to win to try to make the playoffs or at least make their seed a little bit higher. For that reason, the Las Vegas Raiders are guaranteed to have a top 2 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft.